Yes, a rant this will be, but not like my previous ones. What it lacks in punchy aggression, I'll make sure it compensates for with ruthless precision. Call this a continuation of the last two videos that I've done, because ever since those two videos, I've seen some things now. Had a discussion with both Scrump and V about this, something that I've noticed with V. V will talk about what he thinks is the purpose of the mainstream narrative, whereas I will point out where it's illogical and it makes no freaking sense at all, often with the unintended consequences that most of the time I can't tell if it's malice or stupidity, and lately how little sense it makes is reaching critical mass, so I am just going to laugh my ass off at all of it. Feminism is Marxism in drag. I don't know who that quote belongs to, but given the emergence of the story hour gimmick, yeah, that is disturbingly accurate, and considering how many times those cretins all end up with CP charges over and over again, and we're supposed to run on pattern recognition, yeah, society is either blind or incredibly stupid. Possibly both. But anyway, the machinery hates humanity. It is why every piece of entertainment and or advertisement these days creates ugliness, showcasing a complete lack of any standard, if somewhat limited, but especially in pixelated form. Except in the men. The men always look amazing like Greek gods. Now, V says this is to protect the interest of the female gaze. Now, myself, I don't think I actually agree with that. I think the regime openly hates women, and it's so openly everywhere that women don't even see it anymore. The problem is, of course, when it comes to that, it's all a matter of perspective, and considering men and women are not equal, the former is superior, the gazers don't operate equally either. Now, I haven't used this example in a long time, but say you are Alan the Alien once again, and you came to the Western world, and you looked at the diversity. You will notice the men all look amazing. There is a lack of diversity amongst the men because there's a bloody standard for the blokes. Women, on the other hand, have oodles of diversity, and they can look varied, ranging from hellishly grotesque on the one hand to very pretty on the other. And yet both are praised as beautiful and empowering. I would say Alan would be perplexed as to why does beautiful and empowering apply to women just as they are, but the men must all look a certain way. As an outsider, I would think this society thinks very little of its women, borderline condescending, because they seem to get praise and adoration for nothing other than existing, whereas the only males I see displayed are at the pinnacle of their form. So congratulations, ladies, your sex has become the living embodiment of a participation trophy. How does that make you feel? Again, we are not equal, and I don't care what anyone says when it comes to understanding the dynamics of sexualization and objectification. Men are a hell of a lot smarter than women these days, and it is very easy to explain why. Men have not been poisoned by an utterly illogical ideology. Well, at least not directly anyway. Our way of being is ancient. Men understand the concept of standards. They know if they are broad-shouldered, barrel-chested with a body they actually worked for, they will attract a higher tier class of women. Women, especially young women nowadays, because they have no standards at all, seem to think just having genitals is enough to snag a top-tier guy, hence why you see so many of them rate themselves much higher than they objectively are, and for some reason, the more melanated ones are particularly prone to more extreme self-aggrandizement. Again, representation and diversity is nothing but product degradation, and anyone with eyes can see this, at which point I have to ask, ladies, you're fine with this, are you? Multicultural depictions of your sex with absolutely no standards whatsoever. Tell me, how does it feel having your standards of beauty completely obliterated? Femininity is now demonized and perverted with injections of masculinity, both in form and behavior. The ugliness glorified as a political prop in the name of diversity and representation. How is any of this empowering exactly? You're showcased as objectively uglier, less desirable, unhealthier, and you won't live as long. Talk about cutting off one's nose to spite one's own face. Oh, but we're going to get even worse. Again, Queen Victoria and the anti-suffragette poster. If women were to unsex themselves to claim equality with men, it is about proving your economic worth, independence, and all of that bollocks. Unsex yourself, prove your economic worth. Now couple that with abortion being praised, this dumb rhetoric of, oh, we are more than just our bodies. Is it any wonder you see deranged males saying anyone can be a woman? Because you ladies have been suckered into buying this dumb ideology that actually hates you and femininity. If equality requires the unsexing of women, then equality will be the death of women. The female gaze argument I just find hilarious because if men want to see the so-called unrealistic beauty standards, It's not exactly like that's a challenge, and if the only place where they can see something vaguely pleasing about the female form is through adult entertainment, what do you think that will signal about objectively better-looking women? Think about it. Hell, sexual liberation is something championed by feminism, especially for capitalistic gain, which they also hate. Except when it comes to the female form, whilst also claiming women are more than just their bodies. Again, this ideology is so contradictory and stupid at every turn. No one who thinks about this for more than 15 nanoseconds will be surprised as to why women nowadays are completely insane. I was talking to a girl yesterday and the group was discussing OnlyFans and those e-girls who act essentially like interactive slot machines. And I said to her, am I the only one who finds it hilarious that these women exist to serve almost exclusively a male audience and that is somehow empowering? But finding a loving husband and making a family, that is considered oppression. Look, we even have it in meme form right here. This is mind-blowingly idiotic, isn't it? Feminists are like Satan in the Garden of Eden, and their ideology is the forbidden fruit. Women are very, very easy to tempt with power, far more than men are. Men are supposed to have power. Hell, we are taught, well, supposedly anyway, this is our role. Women have no concept of what empowerment even looks like, why they should have it, what to do with it, or what the consequences would be for them or society as a whole. But who gives a shit about any of that because it's all about me. Like Aiden said, women are fully as agentic, intelligent, and logical as men, but at the same time, they are so stupid they wouldn't know that voting was important until other women told them it was. The funny thing is, no one can accuse me of being sexist because I did not get to this point listening to the opinions and thoughts of chauvinistic men. My main inspiration comes from Queen Victoria, listening to other women who also oppose the shift and why, and my best friend is a girl. It's almost like diversity among women can stretch beyond just their waist and bust size. Shocking, isn't it? Men with power will act according to their nature and reality. Their nature is designed to handle power, act according to reality. Women are attracted to power in male form, hence why men wield power to get women. Women, on the other hand, when they get power, will act according to emotion, ignore reality entirely and push for subversion. Men are not attracted to women with power. Women can only use power for entirely self-serving purposes. Here is a fun question for you all. Can you think of any place of authority or influence where an influx of women have actually improved anything? It's a lot more challenging to answer that when simply wanking off a statue of equality doesn't suffice now, isn't it? Cheers for watching, and once again, I apologize for nothing.